So I am pissed. I'm mad.
We got clowned on.
I clowned us, really, because
yeah, you did.
I brought up to Galir 2 episodes ago. I was like, on NXT, they had this weird moment where it looked like a fight in the crowd, where like 2 guys got into a scuffle, and the entire crowd was looking that way. And it was when Wes and Obafemi were in the ring doing a promo, and they were cutting away from it, and they were not showing it, and all this shit.
You saw Obafemi kind of like...
Yeah, they were all like, oh, what the fuck's going on over there? And then the week before that, Vic Joseph, it comes back from commercial, and Vic Joseph was like, oh, sorry, we had something weird happen here. I'm like, God damn it. So we talked about it, but I cut it out because I didn't think it was that important. And like, we barely covered it because I was like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but this. I cut it out.
You.
And then on NXT this week, during the main event,
someone comes out. So we're doing Trick versus Sean Spears, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And towards the last 2 minutes of the match, they're like on the outside or whatever, and then someone appears to come out of the crowd and like try to attack Trick and Sean Spears, and they got like security restraining him, and he's like fighting them off, and like they worked this so well. They worked it so well. Trick and Sean Spears just kept going as if, as they would on TV if something like that was happening. So naturally you're like, oh shit, like, but in the same vein, it was on camera enough for you to be like, okay, like this is definitely a work.
Right.
Like at this point. So the guy's like fighting off the security. You can't really tell who it is. And then he takes the announce table like cover and whacks Trick with it. And then that gives Sean Spears the advantage, and he goes in the ring, does his finisher, and wins the match.
Awesome.
But they were like, what the hell just happened? They don't really say like a guy came out of the crowd. They were just like, something just happened.
Yeah.
But like we all saw what happened. It was presumably like they're working it like a guy came out of the crowd, and so I don't know if this is just the same guy who somehow in kayfabe like keeps getting into the building, or like if it's like multiple people. You said it earlier about something else, but I think this is like feels a lot like Retribution,
where they're like fucking with stuff,
except it's not like dudes in
Hacker Man.
Like, yeah, right, exactly. So they're doing a really good job with it. It's so much so that we cut out a segment.
I was so mad, man.
Well, also like again because they're just playing it off so well, like
right. You got work, Justin. You got work.
I did.
Well, it's also one of those things where it's like usually when stuff like that happens and they like it's part of the storyline, it's just a lot more obvious, and it's like, oh, like Santino. That's a good example. Santino's debut, like he was just some guy in the crowd who got a shot at the Intercontinental Championship and won.
Right.
Which is still legendary to this day.
It's awesome.
But this is different.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And yeah. What were you gonna say, Joe?
I think they're just getting wise to the fact that a lot of, I imagine, most of the people who are watching NXT are whatever smart wrestling fans or whatever you want to call them. So I think that they might be just getting wise to, I mean, they've done this in the past where they've done the fake X symbol that, where they do that when someone gets injured. They do like the fake X symbol if it's part of the match. I think they're getting wise to the fact that people know parts about the business and they kind of know how certain things operate to exploit that.
They're like switching it up and
it's awesome. I think it's so cool. That's the only way you can
making them
do
look
it.
Stupid.
Yeah,
making us look stupid.
Yeah, I fell for it. I'm a dumbass. Oh,
well, because I remember you were like, oh yeah, I think it's like you were right. You were like, oh, it's storyline, and I was like, yeah, but like they didn't really draw like attention to it. So like it's not like I was like, nah, and you were like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
and I felt dumb because I didn't know like enough about it, and I saw a post like someone thought they knew who it was, and I was like, I don't know, but I didn't remember the name, and then I was like, I'm just gonna cut this part out because we like
I tried
brushed
pausing
over
and like I tried pausing and seeing who the guy was, and I couldn't make out who it was.
Yeah.
At first, it looked like I don't know if you know Nick Camarado. He was in AEW. Just a really hairy dude, big hairy dude. But
It's Anthony Ogogo, right? He was friends with him.
Yeah, he was in that little faction with like QT Marshall.
Where they fixed racism, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep. So yeah, but I couldn't get a good enough look. So next week I'm sure we'll have another development, and it'll be the go home show before Heatwave. Which Heatwave, by the way, we're getting a fatal 4-way match, I guess.
Yeah, and that was what we didn't want last week when we were talking about NXT. We're getting a fatal 4-way between Ethan Page, Sean Spears, Trick Williams, and who?
Javon Evans. You know
He'll
what?
win that probably.
What?
Javon Evans, you think?
I think they really like the kid. I don't know. In my head, they just always want to go for like the shock win in some of those situations.
I do think NXT does that a lot, but I would say if Javon Evans wins it, I think he should win it like one-on-one against Trick.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, I like fatal 4-ways, especially NXT does them pretty good when they do multi-man matches, so I think it'll be good. But I really want to see them go one-on-one, so that's why I think Trick retains, and then build Javon Evans a little bit more, and then they can finally like have that one-on-one that they originally had wanted.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm curious. What do you? He's like 20, I think.
Jesus Christ.
He's very young, which I think would make him the youngest NXT champion, I want to say.
It would have to be, right?
Oh, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia, I don't think.
I know, I'm looking him up too. I'm trying to find out how fucking old he is.
21.
Oh, yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah, so I think he would be the youngest. I don't know how old Trick is, though.
Trick might be in like his 30s.
Trick is 30, yeah.
Yeah, Trick is definitely older.
But I was curious, what's your opinion on Ethan Page?
I haven't yet. He to me has the I'm trying to think of another good example. He's essentially a guy who seems like he knows what he's doing, and he seems like he's good at what he does, but he's very, very boring. To me at least. I don't I don't really know why I would care about him. He doesn't do anything particularly, he's not a flippy guy. He's not like super strong.
There's like not one like prominent like quality about him.
Yeah, exactly. Javon Evans, I could say flippy guy. Trick Williams, I could say charisma. Yeah,
and he's also very athletic.
Very athletic too. Yeah, exactly. Ethan Page, kind of just a guy who's been wrestling for a while, is probably a white guy who's just exactly. You need one white guy in that match, I guess.
They just keep like throwing him into this. Like they threw him. He made his debut, and they threw him right in the main title picture, and then he lost. And now they're like making a case for him. Like I never got eliminated from the battle royal, so you got to put me in this match. And Sean Spears, I honestly could understand a little bit more. I think he's kind of down there with Ethan Page, but Sean Spears feels like he has a quality that's like a little, like, something about him's a little bit more memorable than Ethan Page. Whether it's the look, people also remember him as Ty Dillinger, so like that's part of it. And like when he was in AEW, he had a pretty significant like role as like in the like Pinnacle stable. So like, but I think Ethan Page is just like, it's just dull to me.
To me, he's almost I'm an interrupting cow. No, dude, I apologize.
I don't give a shit.
Good. So I'll keep doing it forever.
Okay. Good.
No, I think I would almost put him in, and this might be a hot take, with like Alexis King, Brian Pillman Jr. I understand he's a good wrestler. I understand it's cool that he's Brian Pillman's kid. I understand, he's athletic, but again,
he's nobody's junior. Remember
forgot.
Nobody's junior.
No, pardon me. Hey, listen, I'm not perfect. Hey, cinema. I'm not perfect.
Cinema.
I think, there's just those guys that are kind of just there and who exist. For me, for the longest time, Baron Corbin was one of those guys. just happens to be breathing. You know,
What a way of putting it.
I know that's a bit odd, I suppose, but I don't know. I if they get him into an interesting feud or a promo or an angle or something like that, then maybe I could see him doing something substantive. But until that point, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't agree with throwing him right into the big matches.
Yeah.
Personally.
It's so they're just pushing him to be like, they're like expecting you to think he's this massive star, but he doesn't really have that much to show for it. Like,
And again, like I popped when he showed up because it was like, oh, Ethan Page, cool. Like I
Right.
know who that
Yeah.
is, but that doesn't mean everyone else does.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
You